You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today is a dear friend of mine. We're going to talk some LFC. We're going to talk about some beauty, strength, and dominance. And who better to have a very empowering female figure, an empowering female role that is my dear friend, Muay Thai fighter, Miss Sindy Maricic. Cindy, it's a pleasure and a privilege. How you doing?
Thank you for having me, Michael. And good evening to you.
It's my pleasure. Yes, folks, as we are recording this, it is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S., and where my dear friend Miss Sindy Maricic is in lovely Australia, it is 9 a.m. in the a.m. over there, Sunday morning. How you feeling on your Sunday morning, Maroon 5 style?
I feel good. I feel relaxed and refreshed. I had the day off yesterday, so it was nice.
Well, who doesn't love a good day off, number one? And number two, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's another day. We're up. We're healthy. It's another shining day. It's another good day. And what a good day it is to have some discussion here, talk about some LFC and talk about some beauty, strength, and dominance. So with this show, folks, as you know, I always talk about beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. I think in how we are with how we used to be back in the day, and I use this in regards to women, there was always that, standpoint. I'm going to say this as a male. Y'all are kicking our butts nowadays when it comes to sports and in general. The overall stigma, we had that ignorant mindset of, men and women, men are the dominant one over the female. Equality was not something that we see more nowadays. It was what it was. So what I love about what I do with LFC, and this is, I think you can equate with the way females are in sports, with the way females are in general and everything, pop culture, acting, what have you. It's nice to see the evolution of kind of like more open-mindedness in today's world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And it's from not just from a female perspective, but from a male point of view too. Men don't have to put on this front of being so tough anymore. They can soften and just be more their authentic self, just like we can. And we've been given the opportunity now to be able to do things that wasn't seen as perceived as being feminine.
Right. And I mean, we look at the day and age of when women wanted to try out on the wrestling team or what have you. I look at it from a stance too as well. With men, and I'm going to say this as well with men, I always equated it to like if you were a guy and you wanted to try out for cheerleading, you get ridiculed. But also at the same time, right, but also at the same time, it's like if you want to cheerlead, freaking cheerlead. If you want to do this, you want to do that. That's the problem that we've had with society. But in today's age, in 2022, what I love about it too is, and we were talking about open-mindedness, it really showcases and placates to how people really see things and that overall visualization, that trajectory, if you will. And I think that's what we need more in today's day and age, and really bring a lot of awareness to that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. And I just love the fact that we can just express ourselves to how we want to be without being shamed or feeling embarrassed about who we are.
Well, right. And I mean, this month is Suicide Prevention Month, a lot of mental health awareness. And I'll be honest with you, I've had my demons, and you and I have discussed this. It's one of those things I look at it from a stance too as well, with even in today's day and age with mental health awareness and what we do. Back in the day, if a male cried, it's just like, oh, come on, man, toughen it up. It goes without saying that from those days, like you can understand it, but also at the same time, with what we've known from concussions and what we've seen through, brain damage or what have you that we've seen in sports and just in general, you don't know what that person's going through, number one. Number two, you don't know their thought process. And number three, it's problematic if we don't address these things. It's best to put it at the forefront because maybe we could catch something before something really goes into a drastic measure.
And just to add to that, you said something really important. Men really did suppress how they were feeling, and they were made to feel not to be able to talk about how they were feeling. And in order to heal, we have to talk. And
Right.
Part of healing is therapy, whether you're male or female. You have to talk about it in order to be able to process what you're feeling, to be able to, and that's just to be heard. So you can move forward.
What I always loved about it too, and also you said something very important here, Miss Sindy Maricic. Look at therapy, and for me, and I can speak from experience, my form of therapy is whether it's opening up or using a platform like social media. Mentally and spiritually, you have to find yourself. You have to think of like a positive mindset, kind of like you're layering yourself out with your day. It's like I can look at this like I'm just going to go through the motions, or you can look at it like, hey, maybe I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do this to the best of my abilities. You know what I'm saying? And also from a stance too, as well, spiritually. From the other side of things, I'm a man of faith. I mean, you and I have talked about God, and I've talked with a lot of my friends as well. The spiritual side of things as well really helps, and it may not be for you, but spirituality really helps really get in touch with oneself and here and in here. There's a lot of ways and there's a lot of layers to better yourself, and I think it's wonderful to have whether the positive side of social media, as I like to call it, add that layer to it of using what you have in life, social media, what have you, using it for positivity and good really outweighs a lot of the negativity. So, I mean, if you could find something that makes you happy, makes you have that positive mindset, it's a beautiful thing.
It's what you expose yourself to, and like they say, you know, if you surround yourself with positive people, you feed off that. You know, it's like when the sun comes out. Like, how good does it feel when the sun comes out? You automatically just feel a lot better, especially after a rainy, gloomy day. And the same with people. You feel uplifted when you surround yourself with positive people and people who encourage you. And with social media, if you're scrolling through things that are toxic and they're not making you feel good, that's just something that you need to just really look at and maybe stop following and stop exposing yourself to that, because subconsciously it makes you feel down.
Absolutely. And I think you and I can equate to this, and you and I agree. Man, I'm tired of people arguing on social media. Here's the problem with opinions. As they say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them. But God dang it, man, everything is subjective in life. And here's the thing, too, what people do that really kind of pisses me off. If you see something, whether it be from a celebrity or another person, don't comment on it. If it annoys you, just scroll through. That's why you got the scroll through. We were talking about scrolls. Don't comment on it, because it's only going to lead to a comment and a bicker and a war and a friggin' beef that doesn't need to be have it. Let them have their opinions, even if it's very ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Let people say what they want. Mind you, Bill of Rights, it's a freedom of speech. We're talking about the First Amendment here, but that's the other thing too. And I equate this with Lingerie Fighting Championship, and this is where we'll talk about the female side of things and the empowerment. Sindy, man, we had RT Sport over there to do a video about LFC as an exploitation or as an entertainment, and the way I look at it like this. We're not forcing a gun to these girls' head and like, hey, you must wear lingerie. The title of LFC is Lingerie Fighting Championship. It's a little bit of MMA, it's a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of clothing. You're adding that sexiness side of things, and it's an entertainment business. So when I look at it, we're doing a thing from an entertainment side of things. We're evoking emotions. If we were really exploiting them, you know what I'm saying? As they say, sex sells. There's many different layers to, you know, really analyze, dissect, and decipher it. But for you, when you look at the Lingerie Fighting Championship product, when you look at the sex appeal that goes into a lot of what we see in LFC and today's popular culture, what does Sindy Maricic think about this? Are we talking about exploitation, or are we leaning towards entertainment? Go ahead.
Entertainment. 100% entertainment. You're not exploiting women.
Right.
Like it's their choice too. Plus also to whatever they've got externally added to their name or to their brand, it just adds to it. And from going on to your show on the LFC, it actually funnels additional clientele to whatever else they got going on, whether it's OnlyFans or whether it's their social media account or whatever else that they have.
Right.
It's entertainment.
You know what it is too, and it's so funny. Like we talk about sex appeal and stuff. Like I remember as a kid, this was taking it back, folks. 2004. I'm showing my age in as well. So I remember going into 6th grade. Man, we had we always used to go to the library. I had Miss Ashby. She was a librarian at the time. One of the books that really piqued me out, I would always go to the sports section. One of the early books I saw was a biography on Mia Hamm. And for those that don't know who Mia Hamm is, soccer player, one of the first female big soccer players that we saw. This was also at the time when you had Lisa Leslie in the WNBA and the Los Angeles Sparks. Very empowering figure. Now you look at what her story was, where she's young, she's going into soccer, doing her thing, doing it for all the ladies. What I love about it too as well with Lingerie Fighting Championships, and I think you can equate to this, there's a lot of beautiful women. Look at MMA, the Ronda Rouseys, your Holly Holmes, and many women that have really revolutionized the sport of MMA. I mean, Layla Ali, boxing, Sindy Maricic, Muay Thai, and I'm including you in this because you got a badassery with your Muay Thai, and we'll get into that. You're welcome. But I mean, there's a lot of great women out there doing their thing and really sex appeal, sex sells. And I mean, there's a lot of beautiful women internally and externally. But one thing that I really have to go on with this, and I'm going to ask you, there's layers to this. And that's a common saying. There's layers to this. There's layers to a lot of things. There's layers to sex appeal. There's layers to sexiness. And there's layers to entertainment. And we talked about evoking emotions. With sexiness, how it is, it could be confidence, it could be swag, it could be physically, it could be mentally. There's so many different laws of attractions that we see in today's day and age, and really in life in itself.
I totally agree, and it all just comes down to perspective and how the woman feels. Like for me, sexiness is about, I feel the most sexy when I can be my authentic self, you know, and I don't need to sugarcoat anything. I don't need to dress up. I can just be just completely raw. And confidence, to me, it's about confidence and being really sure of who I am. That to me is sexiness, and being quite secure with who I am. That to me, when you can kind of hold your head up high and you know you've got this, like that to me is sexy, and I find that quite attractive in both men and women. But you know, for the ones that need to choose, and I'm just going to move over a bit, I don't need to change anything about myself because I love who I am, and that to me is sexy. So when I do see, say, women that need to alter their features, if that's what they need to do in order to feel beautiful, in order to feel sexy, then so be it. But I feel like women don't need to do that. If they just accepted who they are, that to me is sexiness.
Right, and the thing too about it is, and that's what I love about a woman as well, is the confidence, and also what goes into it. A lot of people kind of gloss over this when you're in lingerie and you're showing off. Mind you, a lot of women don't want to do this, and what's funny about it too is as well, and I've always found this when I started doing the LFC stuff here. A lot of women kind of find the lingerie side of things. It's like, do I really have to wear lingerie? Some of them will go the booty short route, but look at it from a stance too as well. Body confidence and body positivity goes a long way. And here's the thing about that's very empowering. If a woman wants to go out there, whether it be modeling, look at modeling, for example, you have women like Tyra Banks that have revolutionized the world of modeling, and Ashley Graham on the plus side of things. You have to have that confidence, but also at the same time, it's that positivity mindset of your body and how you feel, whether you're curvy, what have you. That's really an empowerment that people really kind of gloss over and really don't see because they just see it as like tawdry or what have you. But at the same time, if you're really visualizing, you're really looking at it from a perspective of open-mindedness as well that we mentioned, but also of a art form, so to speak, you realize that it's like, God dang, man, there's something very, very like positive and very empowering behind the message.
As whether you're wearing lingerie or whether you're wearing shorts, if you're confident, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. If you're confident, you're secure with who you are, that to me is like the epitome of sexiness. Whether you want to fight in lingerie, whether you don't want to fight in lingerie, it doesn't really matter to me. And yes, some women would shy away from it. I guess they would perceive that as being, that's something a little bit more private, but you look at when you go to the weigh-ins, whether it's lingerie or you go for UFC, and women, they're weighing in their lingerie. Mm-hmm. To me, there's not much of a difference, really. You're actually more exposed when you're standing there on the scales getting your weight checked than being in a cage, because there's all that fighting going on. You're not actually really looking at what they're wearing.
Right. And what's really interesting about that too is as well, like professional wrestling, to equate this, like in today's day and age, there's so much variety, whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, we'll be here all day. But what I always love, like back in the day, you had the matches of the bra and panties and you showed the sex appeal and stuff. Mind you, we've moved towards the wrestling side of things and we get to see a lot of badass women doing their thing. But I always love the equation of both. Like some people go, oh, more we're forcing toward the action, no more bra and panties. But I'm like, if these girls didn't do bra and panties matches, or we showcase what we had from the early 2000s to now, then a lot of these girls wouldn't be here, number one. But number two, it's okay to show that off. Just don't have it like constantly 24/7, because there's more elements to women, but also at the same time, we could have a nice little combination of both, right?
Absolutely. And also too, there's nothing wrong with getting into character.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. And that's, we're not one-dimensional. We're multi-dimensional. We have more than one layer to us. So if that is a part of who we are, then why not?
Right. And you know what I've always loved too as well. And I mean, for me, my mother is my biggest influence. I'll say that to the day I die. And I've been talking about this on the show. My mother is now cancer free, tough woman. And folks, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. So show some love and show some respect to breast cancer awareness. But also at the same time, women go through the struggles. We talk about women giving birth, what have you. A lot of women are here that really are nurturing, and it's a wonderful thing. And I include you in yourself with how you are as an overall being, Miss Sindy Maricic. What I love
Thank
too
you.
about you're very welcome. But what I love to it as well, we talk about layers. There's that nurturing side, there's that loving side, and there's that overall positivity. But here's what I love about it too. We talk about character. You're getting in the ring, you're getting on the mat, what have you. You can amplify yourself, turn up the volume, and it really showcases from the entertainment side of things. That's what I love, because we get to see behind the scenes like yourself or whomever may be fighting. But then, man, once you get in that ring, you're going to put on a show. The mindset is, I'm going to do this. I'm disciplined. Bada bing, bada boom. You go and you entertain. So that's what I always respected. The outside, going inside the ring and putting on the show. There's a lot of layers that go into being an entertainer, being a fighter, and whatever endeavor that you pursue.
It's no different, really.
Yep.
You know, who I am when I walk into the gym to go train is not the same person when I'm sitting down, having a conversation with you, you know, and like you can call a character, I have to turn it on, I have to switch it on. That is a side of me. That's a serious side of me. And the same with entering the ring or the cage. That's another layer to me. You know, and the same with women, whether they choose to, you know, want to go fight in the lingerie championships, or they want to choose to be more down the MMA, more the traditional route. It's all about character. It's what they feel comfortable with.
Right. And what I also love too as well is it's so funny. Like when you look at Lingerie Fighting Championship, one of the other things I equated to back in the day, we had the LFL, which is now the Legends Football League. It used to be Lingerie Football League. Like think of like the same concept when we talk about the entertainment side of things. It's uniqueness, and this could also equate to what people do in the adult industry or adult work. You have to have uniqueness to any product that you go into. And I mean, you look at Lingerie Fighting Football Championship, excuse me, we'll start there. LFL, the football league, it's beautiful women. Mind you, it's the sport of football, but they're in their lingerie. It's no different, but you're adding the sex appeal, but still. And that's what I liked about it, because I used to play it in the States on MTV2 on every weekend, folks. And mind you, I'm not going to lie, back in 2009, 2010, this high school senior was all about that life. I digress. But it's one of those things where you look from that standpoint of, we're going to put this on TV. We're going to have it here on this time slot going into the weekend. It gives another layer of people to watch it on TV. And mind you, with the way technology is right at our fingertips here, Miss Sindy Maricic, we can watch it on YouTube, what have you now. But you're also looking at it from expanding yourself from the viewer's perspective, from visualizing on TV and the technological age that we have now in streaming. So there's so many different layers of how you put a product on television, put it on pay-per-view, what have you, that leads to other different business avenues. Because every other thing, and if you look at it, it's business, and it has its certain role to how it's going to play in everyone's life.
And that's right, and it's all about marketing too. So, and you're tapping into a niche. There's an audience there that want to see that, you know, as opposed to the footy shorts and the jumper and the, you know, the knee high socks. And even visually, just to watch it is completely different.
Right.
You know,
Right. And the thing, too, that I always loved about it, too, is, and I mean, people talk about the adult industry. Now, we've had some ladies in the LFC, and what I love about the variety is we can have different backgrounds, whether it be Muay Thai, BJJ, wrestling, MMA, but you also have some may have done adult work, but what also is curious about that, too, is the fetish modeling side. These are badass women, and I'm going to include you in this, because this one over here, folks, whether she's training or going to the gym, my God, I've seen your strikes, I've seen your kicks, I've seen you hit the bag, so this is where we come back full circle to you here, Miss Sindy Maricic.
yeah.
But like when you're doing that and like they take this seriously, you have to, doesn't matter if it's LFC or however you want to like poo-poo on it or whatever you, anything you do in life, the cardio, the strikes, the kicks, the workout, everything that goes into it, you got to take this shit seriously. Excuse my language, but you have to take this shit seriously. Go ahead.
It's the same amount of effort. It's the same amount. The only thing that is different is what you're wearing.
Right.
You know, I'm the type of girl I'm not really into, I have to have matching outfits, or I want to have the same crop top and the same color shorts. That's not me. But you know, kudos to the girls that love to look good when they're trained. I like to pick the most oldest shirt that I have, and I'm all about comfort and execution, not so much about what I look like or what I'm wearing. For me, it's kind of like a wait. Oh, I've got something new on. I don't want to destroy it.
I think for the longest time that I've known you, and no, that actually is, I'm smiling just thinking about it, because you would just wear like the shirt or what have you, and then you rock the headband. It's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go out, I'm gonna kick my bag, I'm gonna strike. You don't even give a shit. That's what I like about you too. It's the best.
I don't, and I think people. I've actually put up on social media. I think one of my shows has had that many holes in it. I did have to part ways with it, but it was my favorite. It was my favorite shirt. It was my favorite shirt to wear. It's about 20 years old, but yeah, you know what? Yeah, pretty much, excuse my language, like no fucks given. Like I just want to go in there, train, and do my thing. It's not really about so much about what. For me, it's about personalities. Like if you're the sun, and if you exude that sunshine, people are attracted to you. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. And I can rock a t-shirt with holes in it.
That's true. I'm glad you brought that up, because no, it's very true. I mean, you have some ripped jeans to it, man. Then you hit it on the head, right? Exactly. But
it's about personality, and I'm really big on that, especially with women, to really embrace who they are and to love who they are, to love all facets of who they are, and including their bodies. Our body goes through so many changes within a 30-day period. Some days we feel a little bit skinnier. Some days we're a little bit more fluffier. We need to embrace our fluffy bits, and not to shy away, and constantly, measuring our self-worth and our attractiveness to what we're wearing and how much we weigh and how visible our abs are. We need just to love who we are at any time of the day. And that's what I'm really all about. So my social media accounts, I don't filter my photos. I don't wear makeup, because the audience, the people that follow me, that's the message that I want to send. To be your authentic self, and what you want to choose to do in life, whether you want to, fight in the lingerie championships, go and do it. If that's a part of who you are and that's how you want to express yourself, go and do it. But also love who you are without all of that too.
Beautifully said. See, folks, this is why I love this woman. Beautifully said, number one. And number two, well, that's the thing too, and what I love about it as well. It's like, and I'm going to say this right now, as someone whose weight has fluctuated over the years, like, I don't care if I'm at like 200, 190, the lowest I think I ever weighed was like 169. Like, I feel good about myself. As long as you're doing what you're doing, whether you're watching what you're doing or what have you, and you feel good about yourself, you do you. But also at the same time, we talk about, unfortunately, we live in a day and age where body shaming is a thing, still is a thing, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, that's what I love about like the curvy side of things and the plus size models. It's like, hey, here I am. I'm a big girl. I got some curves. Curves the word, spins the verb. Boom, here's my photos, right? That is something that really is particular as well, because there's so many different shapes and sizes. We've heard it since the days of time, since our childhood, right? People come in all different shapes and sizes. I mean, it's true. And I think we really, really need to keep focusing on that, because I think a lot of women need to know that they're beautiful internally and externally. And same with dudes, and same with just people just in general, man. Just go what you're going for. Do it, man. Just do it. I feel like Nike, do it.
I totally agree. And just to go back on something that you said about body shaming, and that it's still here. It's because I want people to know that we're being manipulated. We're being manipulated by companies who are creating a dissatisfaction with who we are as people. Get this skin firming cream, apply this makeup, take this product. That is all sending out a message: is to not be happy with what you have, because you need this. You need to look a certain way. And what I'm saying is, you don't need any of that. Just love who you are.
I'm going to say
for me, there's a lot of manipulation out there that people don't realize, and we are being manipulated as consumers to not be happy with who we are. But because if you look at mental health now, it's actually on the rise. Mm-hmm. We're in 2022, and it's on the rise. It's not on the decline.
It's up here. It's even.
And we are being manipulated, and we need to have people out there, and that's why I am so big on that. I don't filter my photos. I'll post a video of me in tracksuit pants kicking a bag, because that's real. That's real life. It's not what we see on the TV. It's not filtered photos. It's not having a photographer taking these, glamorous photo shoots. That's not real life. Real life is about loving who you are, accepting what God gave you at any given time of the day. And we need more of that.
We do. And here's the thing, too, about it as well. And I'm going to say this. Whether you're a teenage girl or you're older female, doesn't matter. You got to stop with the stop fucking filtering your photos. And the reason why I said it with that much emphasis, you don't need to do that. I hate this. I hate the filters. I hate that with everything in my passion and in my loins. Stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? You're fine the way you are. You don't.
If you look at it, so we're being manipulated again, even through social media.
It's a mind fuck. It's one mind fuck.
Let's change it. Let's take a photo. Oh, but you can change it.
Right.
And sending out a message subconsciously, don't be happy with what you are putting out there. You need to change it. Here are all these filters to make it look better, and you don't need to do that. It's not real. We've really moved away from, people. I think people these days are so confused with so much manipulation out there that we are so confused with what is real and what is fantasy. We can never achieve that filter. And if we're constantly trying to strive and to try and achieve that, the people that are benefiting are the ones that are selling Botox, the lip injections, and all those businesses and things like that. Like, they're thriving. I just had a conversation the other day with a girl, and she saw 2 crease marks on her forehead, and she goes, "I'm thinking about getting Botox." Why? You don't need it. You don't need it. You look beautiful. You don't need it.
Right. Well,
and I'm really passionate about this topic, Michael. I know. Especially now, like, social media is here to stay, and we need to learn how to navigate around that and really be able to realize we're being manipulated. We are being manipulated, and once we are aware of that manipulation, it's within our power to be able to do something about it. So. But yeah, I know it's a little bit off topic, but it all comes under, for me, it still comes under strength, beauty, and dominance, and I want to be one of those females that it's about being real and being authentic, and that to me just encapsulates all of that, instead of filtering it and having to change who you are for what.
Well, no, I'm right there with you. First of all, we're 2 passionate people here, so I'm right there with you. I get it. But no, that's the thing too as well, because we're in a day and age where unfortunately stuff like Botox and all that crap still exists, and it's just like, why? But also, number 2, the same thing is, it's a mind fuck, because with filters and what have you, we have to look a certain way. There's still that mind fuckery, if you will, that we're supposed to be like that. And where I equate this to LFC, we have so many authentic girls here. We have so many authentic curvy girls. We have so many athletic girls that really make up the genuine artifact that is lingerie fighting championships from the entertainment standpoint. And that's what I love. You have to be real. You have to be who you are, and you have to love yourself. But also, at the end of the day, I always love this fact here. Like, we talk about filters, we talk about social media. Social media imagery also can go to, like, look at Facebook, for example, right? Like, mind you, and I'll say this, social media is not life. What people see from photos, whether it's people smiling, what have you, that's great. It's positivity, but also at the same time, it's like a lot of people, unfortunately, and we see this in the day and age, it's a front, because they see social media as life, but really outside of social media, they could be, hurting, they could be what have you. So sometimes social media in itself can be a front, and sometimes those images that you see, it's just people putting on a smile just so they could take a nice little photo and say, hey, here I am. So there's a lot of different layers that we can really equate to and really coincide with. But god dang, man, social media has its really effect on people.
It absolutely does. And the funny thing, it's not actually funny, but people are afraid to be vulnerable, and And part of healing is being able to be vulnerable. So putting up these highlights of the best moments of your day is really inauthentic. But at the same time, you can really just choose what side that you want to show to the world, because it is public. And then people can share it and they can screenshot it and do all that sort of stuff. So I do understand in a certain way why people will only show certain things about their life, because there's nothing wrong with keeping some things private too.
Of course.
But yeah, but definitely, it is only a highlight, and it's only really just, their 10 seconds of their 24 hours in that day. And yeah, we go through all the same things in life. We're all going through challenges. You can't hide that.
No, not at all. And I mean,
you can't hide that.
Not at all. And the challenges too as well. What I always find funny is, like I mentioned, like some of the stars that you see in LFC, whether they do wrestling, adult work, or what have you, there's a variety. What I always love a fact about, and this also equates to women here too, the adult work side of things, it's like you get judged if you want to do porn or what have you. But here's what's interesting about that. Like porn can be very lucrative. Like you look at what we've had from, and it's so funny when I have this conversation with people. Like COVID kicked everybody's ass, you know what I'm saying? It gave everybody a chance to do home workouts and stuff, but it really affected a lot of people financially, emotionally, mentally, what have you. But what's interesting is the boom of like OnlyFans, and many of it's providing that content. And the common misconception, like we talk about mindfuckery here, is OnlyFans is just, oh, they look at it as like porn and stuff and content. I'm like, no, there's also that interaction people have with their fans on there. There's many different layers of the uniqueness of what people have preference-wise and what really makes everybody tick. But also at the same time, it's like, don't just judge it because you think the overall common conception is it's like pornographic or adult videos or content, what have you. It's like, no, there's more layers to it. And people always just go through the smut type of feel instead of thinking of, okay, maybe there's different other avenues and aspects with one said, site and content creation. Not everything is all about smut, just, horror-ish like behavior, if you will. So, go ahead.
But people put that shit on social media for free. So I actually admire these girls who actually set up an account. You know what? If you want to see my ass, you're gonna have to pay for it. Good on you. You know your self-worth. You know your value. And I totally admire it because they actually make really good money.
Right.
And there are women out there that you don't see who are quite promiscuous and they do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
They do this for free. And I admire these women, like, hats off to them. If they're gonna show their ass and bear all, you might as well get paid.
That's why I also look at people like with the MMA world. I'm like, you look at the great talented females, like we've talked about, fighters in general. Like, you know how many, and I'll say this, folks, you know how many a lot of those MMA girls are actually doing OnlyFans right now, and you can respect it because here's the thing too. People look at like a YouTuber, right, or like a social media influencer, however you want to define it. Like, people make money off of that. Like, that's their job. Like, a lot of these girls who are on OnlyFans, that's their job. It's lucrative. It's a business. And if you pay to just see, like you mentioned, her ass or whatever she's wearing or what you want to do, they know their worth, and here's the dollar. Here's how much I charge. Bada bing, bada boom. You want to see it, you're gonna have to pay for it. It's business. You also have to look at it from a stance of like, yes, free. We all love the freeness. We like the free content. FREE. I'm talking about free. But also at the end of the day, you have to look at it. It's a business. You have to look at things from a business side as well. It's a standpoint. It is a standpoint.
Why wouldn't you put a price on that?
Right. I know. I get it.
Why wouldn't you put a price on? And you have control, like the women that are having OnlyFans, you have control over what content you put out. It's not like someone's forcing you. You have an audience. You know what your audience like. Some are a little bit more on the softer side. Some of them go a little bit more on the harder side. It's not like you're being forced to go all out. So hats off, and so you should. Like back in the days, before even social media was around. If you want to go see that stuff, you'd have to go buy a magazine.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I mean, okay.
You'd have to go buy a magazine.
Well, also Well, no, it also equates to streaming as well, because there are adult sites out there now that just have it for free, like an X Videos or an X Hamster, what have you. Like you see that, like back in the day, like, and I'll say this right now, and I'll show my male perviness, if you will, because I am a male at the end of the day. Like Naughty America was a big site, but also at the end of the day, to see their adult content, you'd have to pay. But here's the thing: now we've evolved so much. Now everything is streaming. Now, again, that makes sense because it's great to see everything, but that's also at the end of the day, you got to respect Naughty America, because even still to this day, people are either going to go look at Hustler magazines, they're going to buy them, they're going to go to Vivid, and they're going to buy Vivid's content because Vivid still sells out the wazoo. Same with Naughty America. People still, even though in a day of age of streaming, they still want to subscribe to the website and pay a monthly fee and do what they want to do. Like, I equate it to pay-per-views and stuff. With WWE has like their Peacock network, and it's very cheap. You know, it equated to the WWE network where people can watch it monthly and pay a subscription. But there are some people that still are out there that want to pay the X amount of dollars for pay-per-view. And you see it with MMA. You see it with different sports. There's still many lucrative, you know, avenues to go down, but doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You're still making money. You're also putting in and contributing money, but you're doing what you want to do for the dollar, and you're getting your money's worth, because at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. You got to get your money worth.
That's exactly right. And, you know, it's up to the user.
Yep.
You know, it's just like anything. You're in control of how long you spend on social media. You're in control of how long you use something as well. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, my thing is, if you're gonna put your ass out there, you might as well get paid for it. Like, if you look at my social media, I don't have any of that stuff on my social media, because I feel I have an audience there. I have some young girls on there, so that's not the image that I want to portray.
Right.
Too. But if I was going to go down that route, you're going to have to pay for it.
And I can respect that. Well, also, let's get into this here with Sindy Maricic. You also have the role model side of things, which I can respect. But we're talking about natural beauty here, man. You got the natural beauty. You don't need to do that, man. You got your natural beauty. You're welcome. But no, that's the thing too as well. And I mean, we talked about COVID before. First of all, kicking everybody's ass. Like, I've discussed this with you. Like, home workouts were so important. You're kicking butt and taking names, whether you have the bag or what have you. But you're doing your thing now. And I've seen this stuff with Gracie. You're at the gym. I've seen the praying before each and everything that you do with the teaching. Like, I love that, because the spirituality side of things comes in. But also at the end of the day, you're the coach. You're the one who's really teaching and helping a lot of these talents really get into what they're doing and be much disciplined. And you have to respect that, because a lot of people don't understand. It's like, if you're in or outside of the ring, or you're in and outside of the cage, and people just in general, you have that pearls of wisdom, to quote one of my science teacher, Mr. Reno, from back in the day, and I love this, the pearls of wisdom. You have those nuggets, so to speak, to give people knowledge, and everyone has a place to really showcase their talents, and it works because it helps people become the representation of their presentation.
Absolutely. You're more than just a teacher or a coach, just standing at the front, you know, demonstrating a few moves. You know, you're also putting across your own, you're shaping them, not just as martial artists or as Muay Thai fighters or fighters, but you're shaping them as people. And it comes down to how you communicate with them, the connections that you have with your students. And there's a lot of gyms out there that don't connect with their students. You know, they wouldn't have any idea of some of their strengths and weaknesses. But for me, it's really important to have that connection and to see the individual personal growth, because within that, they had their own struggles. And it comes up. And I always say this, I say this to people that I taught, especially having their first fight. It will show up in the ring. You know, it will be exposed when you're in the cage or you're in that ring. Your weaknesses will be exposed, and there's no way around that. So if you want to have your next fight, whether it's something that you need to address with your training side or your mental side or your emotional side, you have to deal with that like head on in order to go to the next round, if that makes sense. There's no hiding in there. There's no hiding. That's what I used to get, you know, when I first started training, when I was a novice myself, I used to get so cranky because I felt exposed. I didn't want to be vulnerable. I didn't want to say, oh, I'm feeling scared, or I can't do this, or, oh, I didn't want to go through that, or even to show my frustrations when I was training, when I didn't feel like I was training good enough. It can bring out. I used to say to my coach, "Oh, you're bringing out the bad side in me," and it exposes everything. It exposes a lot about your character, and and sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it, but you have to be there for people. You have to be able to help them through that. But in terms of being a fighter, I've heard people say, like, I don't feel like a fighter. If you want to be a fighter, whether you're a fighter, whether you're doing BJJ, I don't feel like a purple belt, I don't feel like a brown belt, I don't feel like you have to compete. You have to put yourself under pressure. You have to put yourself in that situation, because then it will show you what you're really made of when you're in that pressure cooker.
It's the overall fight or flight. That's like bringing that stuff at you. It's what it is. You're bringing out the fight or flight mentality. And I mean, I've seen it in LFC. I've seen it in wrestling. I've seen it in MMA. There's a lot of fight or flight mentality. It's really keeping up with one. It's the overall artistic of, the nuances of just really going in there, feeding off each other, really showcasing the pressure points of what you need to do. But also at the end of the day, with how you go through your training, bringing out the weaknesses, your weaknesses can give you strength and also helps you learn and adapt. Because as they say, and this is a common phrase, adapt or perish. You don't want to perish. You want to keep adapting and continue evolving with your fighting stance or what have you. That's very key in anything that you do. So, I mean, it's a mentality, it's a mindset, but it's also a lifestyle. So you're really encompassing all three into one.
You have to train that. You have to train when you step into the gym, whether it's you stepping in, you're going to BJJ, you're going to Muay Thai, you're going to MMA class. My advice for anyone is you have to train your mind first. From the moment you get in that car, then you have to set an intention, not just rock up and go, hey, I'm here, I'm just going to train. Like, what's your intention? Like, how are you going to show up in that session today? And that to me, and I see it all the time. Like, I could never understand how people could be just so blasé when they're in the gym. They'll be doing their bag work and I'll have a bit of a chat. And I just couldn't understand that, man. That I understand it now. I understand it now because not everyone can be a champion. Not everyone's going to have that champion mindset. And I had to learn, even just as a fellow training partner and even as a coach and a trainer, was to really learn how to meet people where they are at. Like, I'm here and I wanted to bring everyone else up with me, and it was failing me. So I had to really just learn how to just meet people where they are at, and that's where I found that I was more effective with connecting people and being able to help people progress better. And instead of saying, look, I know where you could really be, I'm going to pull you up right now. So that was a really big learning curve for me, especially in the last 2 years.
Well, that's the thing.
It's really meeting people where they're at, and not just in the gym, but just in general, just with relationships, friendships, family, and whatnot.
Right. And I think what's also, you brought up a great point. Like, I myself, when you're a positive person and you really want to help people, like truly help people, you want to bring them to here, but also you have to understand, like, you can't just bring everybody here. Sometimes you got to meet them here and kind of balance. Everything in life is a balance. You have to have the balance. And I think what also is great, like we talk about LFC and the balance of sex appeal mixed with the physicality. So I'm going to bring this up to you because this also ties into yourself and women in general, folks. Because not only do we have a badass fighter on the show, we have a beautiful woman in her own right here. So I got to ask you, Sindy Maricic, because this also equates the L in LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. We talk about the physicality, but the sex appeal, the representation of your presentation, from your entrance to where you get into the ring or the cage, all eyes are on you. It is how you are. We talk about amplification of characters, the lingerie side of things, there's different types of lingerie. There's leather and lace. There's many different avenues you can go, and I love the variety of lingerie because it's very appealing, it's very sexy, it's very eye appealing, and it's very gravitational pull, so to speak. So I got to ask you, Miss Sindy Maricic, as a woman, as a beautiful woman in her own right, and as a badassery woman in here, as far as the lingerie side of things, you yourself, speaking as a woman, speaking for all the ladies out there in the world, the lingerie, what's Sindy Maricic's type of lingerie that you kind of be rocking, or just what really appeals the eye from the fashion standpoint that we see from Miss Sindy Maricic as far as the lingerie department goes, man? I got to ask you about the lingerie.
Okay, the lingerie, that's a tough question. All right, let me just think about it.
Okay.
All right. In terms of like, style or color or,
well, you could bring
this is really easy. I love simplicity.
Okay.
So if I don't like a lot of bells and whistles because I feel like that really takes away from who I am. I don't want people to see all the, the arrangement, the decorations. Yeah, I like to keep things really simple, very, very simple. So anything that is simple and nothing too over the top. I wouldn't go the whole leather. The whole leather thing wouldn't be my thing, but just something really simple and very elegant, because that's really who I am when I'm not punching on. Yeah, I love simplicity. So anything is just really cute and simple, and it shows off who you are as opposed to more than what you're actually wearing.
Okay, so I'm going to follow this up because, see, I like that because a lot of us, it's the simple things, and it really is because simple things, it is. And here's what I love about it too as well. I'm going to add on to this. As a male and as someone who also does appreciate the simple things, sometimes when you look at a woman in lingerie, and you can tell because when you look at it from a photo or just in general, it's like, all right, you're kind of overdoing it. And the reason why I put it like that is it's like, all right, I get it, but it's just like, you know what, you can take it back a little notches. Like, you don't have to go over the top with it. Like, I get it. It also the classiness, the elegance, and the overall, dare I say, je ne sais quoi, if you will, it goes a long way.
And I love the simplicity. And with the simplicity, you can add more about it's how you wear it, and it's your attitude that comes with whether you're wearing lingerie or clothing and whatever. You can if you feel sexy, if you have a sexy attitude, you can wear anything and you'll be sexy. I've seen some attractive women who I think are quite beautiful, very attractive, but I feel like they lack the sex appeal. They don't have that. They don't have that air about them. It's just the way they carry themselves.
Okay. So again, valid points here, and here's what we're going to go with this. As we talk about sex appeal and look at the key word here, we're talking about sex here, sex. We could go into this because it also equates to lingerie fighting championship and women in general. So we'll talk about the sex here for a second. So sex appeal and sex. Here's the thing that people don't understand. So in relationships, mind you, sex is a big part of it, but there's more to it than just sex. Like when you look at sex, a lot of people have this mindset because how we've seen over the years of porn and everything in general. You have to understand from the sex side of things, sex is also love. Sex can be lust, but from the sex side of things with love, it's that overall moments and memories to be created when they're in that intimate moment. And then I think, mind you, people think it's a very traditional mindset, but it's the mindset you have to look at because sex in that way is very rewarding. It's very elegant. It's very classy. And it really showcases the love and the overall intimacy faction of what would be a relationship and further on to marriage. So that side of sex goes into it, how you are and how you rock it with the attitude that appeals to one. But also you have to have that traditional side of lovemaking, what have you, too, that really showcases, positivity, love, and just an overall attraction and appeal.
It is. And, COVID really highlighted the importance of human connection.
Yep.
When we were disconnected.
Yep.
We can't survive, and it was proven. We struggled without connection. So when you add intimacy, a relationship can't survive without intimacy because it's a really deep connection, and a relationship will fail without the connection. So for me, it's all about connecting. And if you want to add sex appeal to that, sex appeal is still a connection. You're still connecting. You know, there's that attract. You're engaging. You know, but when it comes to sex and relationships, it's a deep bond. It's about connection. Sex is just a word, and intimacy is a word. It's just used to describe it, but it's really, at the end of the day, it's that deep connection that you're having with that person. And without that, you know, your relationships fail when there's a disconnection.
There's no foundation. Yeah, absolutely. There's no foundation.
When there's and it only takes one person to really disconnect, you know, whether they start disconnecting, whether it's in intimacy or whatever other areas of a relationship, it's that disconnection. But yeah, for me, a relationship really can't survive without that deep connection, you know, and being intimate with your partner.
You know what also kills it? This is just me, and I'm sure
it is a relationship killer.
Well, what also kills it too is, I'm going to say this right now, Catfish has killed it for a lot of people, because I'm going to say right now, Catfish, you're on the like 12 something seasons. It's like, if you don't know that you're already getting Catfish and you learn the stuff, but hey, we keep it on TV syndication. But also, besides catfishing, fucking the dating apps like Tinder and all this crap. Here's the thing: people can meet on dating sites, and that's fine. But the Tinder is the one that really gets me, because it's like swipe to the left, swipe to the right. We talk about that mind fuckery. So you're swiping to the left because I'm not into her. Swiping to the right because I maybe be into her. But here's the thing about it. It's not the love part. It's the lust. You're just hooking up with somebody just for hooking up. It defeats the purpose of just getting into a relationship, making friendships, and that overall quality of what love and the foundation is. So I get it, but also at the same time, it's like, it's not something that's real. There's nothing like that connection. So it's a connection, but not on that level, if that makes sense. It kind of irks me in a bit.
Totally. How can you connect with a picture?
Fucking app. Yeah, with a fucking app.
How can you? There is no connection. You can't connect. You never find me on a dating app because I can't connect with somebody.
Right.
I like the look of them, and
That's it. That's end. See?
That is.
End.
I need a little bit more.
You know,
I need a little bit more. And I think people, especially with our dating apps, when you're basing who you're looking for in a partner based on what someone looks like and a attraction, for me, that's just a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe. And even whether you're just talking and via messages, like, there's no emotion behind that. You can say whatever you like, but it's not until you're face to face and you're talking to someone like you and I right now. I'm connecting with you. You can feel my energy. I can feel yours. You can feel that connection. You can't do that via an app.
Okay. And here's the thing too that also kills it. Now, I'm a male, and a lot of guys do this. The females do it as well. But we got to stop with the private pictures, like the dick pics and stuff. Here's the thing. I get it, I guess. But also at the same time, it's like, do you really need to do that? And again, this is the traditional side of me. It's like, if you want to see said private area, and we talk about lovemaking, that's something you do behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? You know what it looks like when you're having that moment. Yeah, I don't need to send you a photo or stuff like that. I know people do it, but I'm just like, is it really necessary? You know what I'm saying? I guess to like spice it up, but like, I don't get that, because that also goes with Tinder in itself. Because Tinder, like I said, I tried it like once because people were, it was like the rage. This was like early 2010s, right? And I'm like, after like a day of just like looking at it, I'm like, this is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. Excuse my language, but it's the dumbest fucking shit ever. Because if you really analyze, dissect, and decipher it, it means nothing. It means nothing. So yeah, yeah.
I'm actually, it does. I'm actually with men sending, unsolicited pictures to women. For me, I don't look at it and go, oh, why did he? I actually had somebody, I was actually on Twitter, send me some pictures. I could have just deleted and blocked them or whatever. No, I decided to be an adult about it and have a conversation and let them know how it made me feel, instead of just going delete, this guy's a dick. Because I believe there must be some sort of deep anxiety for that person to be that insecure that they feel like that their self-worth is measured by the size of their penis, or that the woman has to like their penis first in order to like them. And you know what? How many guys that I know that think that a woman breaks up with them because of the size of their penis? It's just ludicrous. It is ludicrous. And men that have been shamed for, they need to have a big dick. Then they have, like, if you look at it, you're a guy, like, you would know more than I. So I kind of look at it. So when if I be sent a dick pic, look, why is this guy so anxious?
Okay, so
I know I'm not defending them. I'm not defending them by any means, but I think to myself, well, your self-worth must be so low that you think that I have to like your dick first before I like you. That's the way I kind of look at it.
No, that's a good point. And you know what it is too, and I think it is just guys, we go out there and it's just like, hey, well, that's the thing. It's not even a conversation starter. They think it is, because the overall mindset is, that's a conversation starter. She's hot, here's my dick, boom. And I don't mean to put it like that, but that's true. And not me, but other males that I've known have done this, and it's fucking ridiculous. But also I look at it from a stance too as well. Like, yes, there's some deep insecurities and stuff, really getting to the bottom of it. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, in my 30 years of living on this planet that we've called Earth, the homophobia thing also goes into this as well, because people get shamed for the dicks and people get shamed for their sexualities. Like, I've been hit on by males like 2 or 3 times in my life. There's different perspectives like you can go through. Like, you've had different perspectives with that gentleman. I could either be, now mind you, I know my sexuality. I like women. I love women. I respect women. But also at the same time, if you're gay, if you're what have you, if you're trans, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's your life. Do your thing. But also at the same time, don't come at me because I actually engage with a person, and not be like the homophobic and use the FAGGOT word. The process is how you interact with people. So here's my interaction. Someone told me I was sexy. This was about 2010, right? So they told me I was sexy. They told me I was good. And I said, look, I appreciate it. I'm flattered because you're giving me a compliment. You're not like being mean. You're just giving me a comment. This is what you think. You think I'm attractive. Nice. And you kindly explain. I appreciate that. I'm kind, but I'm not into gentlemen. I'm not into guys, and I'm not gay. I respect you for that. That's cool, but it's not something that I'm into. You can break things down in a nice and respectful way instead of going into a very hateful, mind you know what I'm saying? So there's different ways of how you handle it. I think you handled that person well, but like I said, you don't have to go the overall homophobic route. If someone who is a male hits on another male, and plus gay marriage in today's day and age in 2022, we've evolved. But yeah, the point is, different way to handle things, and you handled that well with that gentleman with the dick pic.
You just been the adult about it.
You got it. You got it.
You're just adult about it, and not making it basic. But by all means, this is not an invitation to send me dick pics.
No.
Not an invitation, but you kind of just got to look at it and go, why is this person, and he actually ended up he did apologize.
Really? Okay.
He actually sent me a really nice message back, and he actually said to me, thank you for not blocking and me off social media. I'm like, this is how that made me feel. And we don't tell people how we feel. We automatically go to like, oh, that guy, he sent me a dick pic. I can't believe he's this and that,
Right. Well,
sometimes we just got to sit in our fields and be adult about it and just, handle things properly.
That's how you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be like another male hitting on you or dick pic, you have to handle it in adult fashion. Like, I mean, we can have these conversations. It's okay. As long as you're respectful of my boundaries, respectful of me as a human and how I feel, we're good. You know what I'm saying? It's AG, and I think we need to do more of that. And I will say this, because I do have a couple final topics here. And Miss Sindy Maricic, I love including you. So anytime I do any one of these shows or my On the Mic with Mike series, you're always coming on, and you're welcome. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with me tonight.
No, I love talking to you. So anytime, and it's been a long time in the making. Like, I know we've delayed it a little bit,
Absolutely, but hey, no better time than the present, right?
No, that's right.
Yep. Now, final question. I'm going to make you think here, because what I love with the shows, whether I have the personnel from LFC, whether it be Sean Donnelly, the LFC CEO, the girls, the fighters, the fans, and I bring a lot of my dear friends onto this forum to really discuss this matter and discuss the LFC product as a whole. And my message is always of beauty, strength, and dominance. So, Miss Sindy Maricic, what does beauty, strength, and dominance mean to you?
Loving who you are, accepting you, all of you. in any given moment. And when you accept who you are and you're secure within yourself, that to me is the epitome of being beautiful and being strong. And you can just kick ass in life. You know, you can dominate anything you want in life. Yes, but and that's what it means to me. It's like it's accepting you, flaws and all, not needing to change anything. Don't need to change anything. You know, that's what it means to me. And that's just whether you're and that's gender neutral too, whether you're male or female. It's self-acceptance when you can fully accept who you are. You know, and I'm talking at the deep core. You know?
I love that. First of all, that touched my heart, number one. Number two, I love that. No. And number three, it makes complete sense. That's why I love the message, and it means a lot of different things to different people. At the same time, we all comes full circle. We can all agree about people in life and what we see as women, men, gender neutral, what have you. Folks, beauty, strength, and dominance is not just the name of this podcast. It is a mindset. It is a lifestyle. And I hope you all are just happy and being yourselves and loving yourselves, because we need more of that in this world, and we need a lot more people like Sindy Maricic in this world. So Sindy Maricic, before we close this out, we talked about social media, many different avenues in this forum today, in LFC. So how apropos, before we close this out, man, you got some social medias. You're doing your thing on the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on my athletes page at Sindy Maricic on Facebook. My Instagram handle is Sindy Maricic, and Twitter is just @Cinda. So on all three.
Alrighty. Now, I will put those links in the description so everybody can follow Sindy, which is a must. You must follow Sindy because she does a lot of great work, a lot of great posts, and a lot of great, vitalization, and just really fuels you up every time you see her post. And I'm going to say this right now. Are you going to get on that TikTok front, man? Because everybody's doing the tick of the talk, if you will.
I have actually been thinking about it. I've been thinking about doing the whole TikTok thing.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing, too. All right. We'll talk and touch upon this really quickly.
Yeah, I do have one final thing to say. You know, we're in a whether a lot of people get affected by other people's opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's more prominent now because people feel like they can just drop comments on people's social media, whether it's say in a negative light. And I just want to encourage people, regardless of what comes at you in life, when you can turn around and say to that person, you know what, thank you for your opinion, but I just think I'm fucking awesome. You have won. That means that there's absolutely no fucks given to what anyone has said to you, and you just go do you. And that's my thought for the day.
No, you're right. And I adhere a lot of people to adhere to that mindset and that overall bluntness and honesty, because honesty is key in anything. And folks, what I will say is this, because we're going to talk about this here. LFCfights.com for the VIP section. You get wet. You get this podcast. You get to see this face on this podcast. LFC Network on Roku. You're welcome. So LFC Network on Roku. You turn on the TV. You go to LFC Network on Roku. You'll see this show in many different pay-per-views and avenues for LFC. LFC is back with Back to the Mansion next November. We're coming back full circle with live events, and check out more on LFCfights.com. Links will be in the description. And as I always say to close this show, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss Sindy Maricic, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.